Hey guys, it's Mitch Comer here, and I kind of want to talk about VSauce's video called Isolation in Minefields. That sounds weird. It sounds like we're going to go through minefields and isolate ourselves from the mines that'll blow us up. No, that's just the name of his little series called Minefield. And this one is called Isolation. The reason that this video kind of hit me different is people who don't know me, I'm going to go ahead and explain it a little bit. For 4 years of my life, starting at the age of 14 till a little bit past the age of 18, I was locked in my room. I was dead bolted in my room without any chance of coming out. Nobody came to see me. And as the years got by, the situation got even worse and worse. And I kind of want to talk about my experience with it. I'm going to go ahead and review VSauce's video of isolation, and I'm going to put my own 2 cents towards it, and also kind of explain what you'll be seeing on his video in regards to what I think should really be happening and what actually happened to me. So it's going to be a kind of a real personal video. One of the most famous stories of this type of extreme abuse is that feral child. I don't remember her name. She's still alive, but what happened to her is her dad just hated everything so much. He just hated the outside world, didn't want any influence with it whatsoever. I guess he just hated evil nature. I don't know, which is really funny because my parents were Christian. They obviously didn't act like it, but they hated the outside world, and I ended up in the same situation that girl did, except she was in there for 14 years or something crazy like that. Thankfully, I didn't have to go through anything like that. I only had 4 years, but I mean, they say as little as 3 days could really mentally harm you, and I gotta say I'm really happy that I'm able to do videos like this and move on. Another thing I want to talk about is that girl I don't think she came out okay. She's actually protected from everybody. I don't know if she ever learned English or not, but it's horrible. And there's these situations out there. This is actually happening to this day. People are still not being found. There's kids missing, but are they actually missing? Or are they being held captive by their own parents, locked in a fucking room, with starving to death and getting beaten for no fucking reason? I gotta say, one of the ways that I was able to survive, the most important one is keeping your mind stable, finding stimulation for it. And the other one is remembering that you're not alone. That's something that we should all struggle with right now. Is we all feel like we're alone. We all feel like, I'm the only fucking depressed person out here, or I don't have anybody that cares about me. I don't have any friends or anything like that. And I mean, maybe you don't have any friends. I don't know your situation. I didn't have any friends when I was in the room, but I knew I wasn't the only one struggling with that. And I knew that there were people that had way worse situations than that. And I knew I could survive. Did I want to? Hell no. Was there days where I hoped that I didn't? Yes. Were there days that I hoped that I did? Yeah, of course there was days I hope I would survive. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just naturally figured I was going to die because that's the way the situation was. And it was like, it's already out of whack to start with. Why I want to just end out of whack? Thankfully, it didn't happen. I didn't die. And, if you're a Christian believer, it's probably even easier for you guys because you got to remember, Jesus, he didn't deserve any of the punishment that got to him. He was fucking healing people. Like, come on. I mean, no matter how many fucking rumors are spread about somebody, if you can't prove it, if there's nothing wrong, then what are you doing? Why are you punishing people just because you think of something? That's exactly what happened to me. Is my parents thought the world was evil and they wanted to take it out on me. But yeah, you gotta remember, if you don't believe in Jesus, then there was other people that were recording the events, like Paul, and even though he was a fucking horrible person to start out with, And they, well, John's not a good example. He got beheaded. But people are going through things, all right? You can survive. You can move on. Whether it's fucking a shitty ass week, month, a couple years, you can get through it. There are people doing the same thing. There's plenty of online resources, to find people like that, such as Reddit. Reddit's a great place to find people with like minds. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue seeing what VSauce was saying. So one of the first things you're going to see in the VSauce video is a Harvard study where people were more likely to go through pain than waste 15 minutes of their life being completely fucking bored. And they're going to see this redhead guy, and he's going to be in his room, and in the experiment, he's going to touch the taser or the fucking buzzy thing, and it's going to hurt him. All right, and he's gonna do it like 3 times, even though he said, "Yo, this is fucking scary. I don't want to do it the first time." He did it. He's like, "Yo, that fucking hurts. I'm not gonna do it a second time," and he fucking does it again. All right, let's be completely honest. I feel like that's an unfair situation. It's a fucking buzzy thing. Who wouldn't want to touch the buzzy thing? All right. And obviously he knows it's not gonna kill him. Now, if there was something in the room that was going to kill him, or really cause some serious fucking pain, yeah, he's definitely not going to touch that. Unless he's in a situation of extreme isolation, and abuse where he wanted to kill himself, all right? There was times where I wanted to off myself. You got to remember, there's a lot of factors going on in here. When somebody comes in with a bat or a steel-toed boot and beats the shit out of you, what do you think your reaction is going to be? You're just going to sit there and cry? Maybe originally, but after years of this, and you have no stimulation whatsoever, you actually find yourself smiling, because that's what you've been wanting. Yet it sucks so fucking much. Your jaw feels broken, your ribs are fucking bruised, you've been kicking the fucking balls. I mean, I know girls, if you get kicked in that general area, it's gonna hurt for you too, alright? You got beat the fuck up, but that tiny bit of fucking feeling alive is so good for you that your fucking body naturally smiles. And it's scary. I don't want to be beaten, but that's the only thing keeping me alive, letting me know that I'm alive. It's probably not keeping me alive. In fact, it probably wanted me to die more. But actually, the beatings I definitely didn't want. There was, at nighttime, I would be so on edge because I don't know if he's gonna come in and just start fucking beating me for sleeping. You don't understand. They don't work with any rules or any systems. They don't have laws for themselves over what I'm doing or how they're gonna have me locked in this room or in this bathroom for years. They just do what the fuck they want anytime that they want. They could come in and beat the shit out of me in the middle of the night because I'm sleeping. That would be their excuse. Oh, he's fucking sleeping. I don't want him to sleep. Just fucking beat the shit out of me. That's fucking stupid, but that's the way they worked. All right? Now, they may come off super nice. People say that they love seeing them when they're, I don't know, it's probably just some social interaction shit. But people can come off fucking nice, but what they do in their private time can really show that some people are fucking horrible people. That's why you don't know who's a serial killer and who's not, because they can just fucking play it off like anybody. You can't judge somebody based on the way they look. Well, I mean, sometimes you can, but you can't tell how bad somebody is based off the way they look. There's plenty of really bad criminals that end up being really good people. Of course, they're always gonna have like tattoos and shit all over them and gang stuff on them, but they're working out of that and they're not in it anymore. I mean, you can't say that they are. But anyway, so will you want to stimulate your body with pain? Yeah. One of the worst things that I ended up having to do to myself in order to get attention, in order to find stimulation, one of them, I wanted to chop my fingers off. So there was this fan blowing around in the room, and if I tried to turn it off, I'd get beaten. So I didn't fucking mess with the wiring on it. And it was like a full industrial fan, and it would blow the room. Now this thing is loud as fuck. All right. The reason that they had put it in, to my understanding, based on my personal evidence, is they didn't want me being able to hear what's happening outside of that deadbolted door. They didn't want me knowing when they're coming. They didn't want me knowing when they were leaving the house, because I used to be able to hear the garage door open and close, and that's when I would, try to figure out, hey, how am I going to escape, even if it's temporary, just to find some fucking food, all right? Like, for example, this one time, before they put a deadbolt on the door, it was just a reverse knob, all right? And I managed to find a straw and a trash can in between me leaving to get food and going to my room. And I pulled the straw, and I managed to yank the doorknob out and be able to get through the door, and I would immediately close it. Of course, my sister caught me, and she, not knowing what was happening, decided to tell mom. And that's how the normal lock became a deadbolt, and that was fucking, oh man, there was no coming out of a deadbolt. I tried so many times to lockpick that fucking thing, from nails from the carpet to, oh man, I tried so many ways to unbolt that fucking door, and it was not working. So chopping my fingers off, I wanted to bleed out to either die or get enough attention to be able to come out the room, maybe go to the hospital, that way people can see, hey, I'm being fucking abused. Of course, I was too chicken shit to fucking hurt myself like that. The other way that I tried to get attention was, before I was moved to the bathroom, I was in this room and I had carpet, and there was a mattress. That was it. I would put my head against the carpet, and I would run across the room as hard as I could. Like, I'd put my full fucking weight on my face. This whole section of my face was just fucking scab. I had completely removed the layer of my skin off, and I didn't get any attention from that. When he came in with the food for that day, and he looked at me, no expression across his face. He was dead-faced. And that's sort of why I was led to believe that they had a camera in the room and they could see things. There's other times where if I sat in a specific spot on the floor, they would just come in and take a broom and just hit the floor directly under me. How the fuck do you know where somebody is after 20 fucking hours? I could be anywhere in that fucking room and you just happen to hit the one spot under me? No. They had a fucking camera in the room. What I was led to believe is they took a computer speaker, not like a subwoofer or anything crazy like that, just an old fucking computer speaker. They hollowed it out, put a camera in it, and they would set it on a shelf somewhere next to one of the boarded windows. And I noticed this because every time that we moved houses, that fucking speaker was there, and it would have a wire coming out and would go under the wall. I never knew what that was for at first because the audio never came out of it. But based on, it was also tilted. There was a time where it was tilted so we could see the room better. And that's when I was like, yo, this is a fucking camera. They could see everything that's happening in this room. And I really wish when the police came in and looked for, evidence and stuff, that they could have found maybe tapes of it or something. Like, were they just live feeding it? Don't they have a fucking camera of some sort that recording it? Is it just a fucking camera just live feeding? Like, what the fuck, man? But, gosh. So, yes, pain is something that helps us stimulate our mind, and it's sad. The other ways I was able to stimulate my mind was, I would take my clothes and I would ball it up and throw it up and down. I tried exercising. I actually, before this happened, I heard on NPR News that this guy who was locked up in like Africa or South America or something, and he said that he exercised every day, and that's what kept him busy. That's what kept his mind stable. That's what made him feel like he was alive at the end. And I'm gonna be honest, I completely 100% disagree with that. I don't think you can go around and exercise and survive from that. You don't realize movement causes you to your mind to feel like a lot of time's gone by, and it hasn't. If you're not having fun, time's gonna go by slow. So me doing exercise while I'm fucking starving, that wasn't good for me. Like, I can't tell you how long days felt on the days that I exercised. I ended up, like, I tried more exercise, I tried less exercise. I've walked around the room counting to like a fucking 100. I can't count to 100,000. I counted to a lot of thousands though. And I gotta say the best option for me was to do the opposite of moving, and was to sit as still as possible for as long as possible, like, and then slightly adjust. Every time I got uncomfortable, I would just slightly adjust till I was just comfortable, and I would just sit as still as possible, going through my mind of, memories that I've had. A lot of the times it was, girls that I would flirt with back in the day, maybe different options I could have taken that, may have given me a girlfriend at the time, or video games that I played, and I would just go through the whole game in my head. I would literally go through every fucking memory I could think of and either replay it or find other paths or just pretend to have conversations with them, and just, it's lonely. So there's another girl named Stefania who decided to go on an experiment where they dug a hole underground and they made a bunker basically. And Stefania went in and she stayed there for about 3 months, I believe. She had a ton of books, she had food. Literally the only similarity that they had was that she was isolated from humankind. I gotta say that's not really fair. When people go into solitary confinement, such as jail, or even fucking jail had more stimulation than I had. It's when you have books and stuff to stimulate your mind doesn't break down. It's no different than somebody sitting in their room for their whole fucking life, just fucking off, doing whatever they want to do. Speaking of fucking off, you don't masturbate when you're fearing for your fucking life, alright? I didn't masturbate a single fucking time in that whole situation. It was probably not even a thought that came across my mind. It's not something. The only time I ever held my dick was when I had to pee really, really, really bad. Like, I'm in tears, I have to pee so bad. In fact, I'd clench so fucking hard. This all sounds horrible, but I would clench so hard that in my mind, it should not be possible for liquid to come out of my dick. Alright? I wet the fuck out of my mattress, and that's how I lost my mattress. And my thought process was, I still love my parents. I don't want them to be mad at me. I won't piss on the floor. I will piss on something that maybe they can clean. I don't know. I know that pissing on the floor is going to be a lot harder to clean. So I pissed on my mattress. They fucking beat me. They took my mattress. That's how I ended up in the bathroom, though, which was sort of oddly enough, was probably a good thing. Now, sleeping in the bathroom was fucking horrible. It was hard floor. The bathtub was actually probably the worst place to try to sleep. It's just, at least I had a fucking toilet, They took all the knobs, so it's not like I had any water or anything. But Stefani, she had a bathroom, she had books, she had food. She knew that she was gonna come out in 3 months. I didn't have any of that. I didn't even know what the actual day was. For her, she miscalculated. She thought she was like a month behind or a month ahead or something like that. For me, I tried my best to keep track of time, and I was still 2 months later than what the actual date was. When I came out on September 9th, I thought it was December 28th or something like that. When I came out of the room, I was blindfolded originally and put in a van. When I finally got on that Greyhound bus and was told what the date was, I was like, oh, okay. Because honestly, the date didn't really matter that much. It might scare you that, somebody could lose complete track of time. But when your only objective is to fucking survive, the date is really mediocre. It's almost meaningless. Um, she got really lucky. All right, I just don't think that's a real experiment. Except, what would happen if we didn't talk to people for 3 months? That's pretty much all I got from that. 3 months and didn't have sunlight for 3 months. I mean, a lot of people do that in their rooms. Come on. So if you've watched the isolation video from VSauce, you will notice that his room it's all pretty much just white and black. There's a little bit of gray. There's like no color stimulation. It's a pretty small room. He does have a comfortable mattress. He does have food. He does have water. He has all that stuff accessible to him. He also has a toilet. Solitary people in confinement at prison, sometimes they have a toilet that works. So I mean, it really just depends on if the guards are being assholes or not. But let's say that they get fucking lucky, they'll generally have pretty much the same thing that VSauce has, except maybe as bright of a light. The solitary confinement that I understand is super dim. And VSauce's light is super bright. My light was just normal fucking light. I personally think that the dim light may have been worse because it gives your mind more time to start seeing things in the dark. I mean, we're naturally afraid of the dark, so having that, stimulus built into your fucking core, plus, it's being dark and you're in a fucking scary ass hole, that I don't think that would help. And I say that because my light bulb was always fucking on, and the one time that the light bulb burned out, that was the scariest fucking time of my life. I would go through beatings. I would go through beatings every day versus being fucking locked in a deadbolted room, starving to death, in pitch black fucking darkness. That was fucking scary. That was actually the time where I actually thought I was dying. I thought I was going to die right then and there. You see, during the darkness, my fear was heightened. I was starving. I actually felt my heart beating really faster. My stomach just went cold. Like, I've never had that happen to this day other than that one time. My stomach's never done that. My body just started shaking. My stomach was literally like an ice cube inside my belly. Like, not the skin, the core of my stomach was an ice cube. My heart was beating faster. I was shaking. I couldn't stand up. I crawled to the bathtub and just laid down into the bathtub crying. I couldn't scream for help. Nobody cared, even if I did. I mean, you know how many times I fucking screamed for help and cried out loud as I could for anything, telling them I'm in pain or anything like that? They never cared. I thought I was dead right then and there. The darkness is not human friendly at all. I mean, the brightness all the fucking time is not helpful either. Like, it's really hard to sleep. But that darkness is horrible. The other thing that's different is VSauce. He has no time. He has no idea if it's night or day. Also, he has vents in his bed. I didn't have a vent. They blocked my vents. So during the summer, it was as hot in my room, if not hotter, than it was outside. It's like being locked in your fucking car. During the winter, it was cold as shit. It was so fucking cold. That there was a year where I only had shorts. It was the dead of fucking winter, and I tried to put my whole fucking body in those shorts. It was, oh man, dude, like, I could stand up, be allowed to go to the bathroom, come back, and I could feel the heat from where I sat maybe 15 minutes ago. It was so fucking cold. Like, I could feel it with my feet, just walk over the spot where I was sitting for hours. The other thing is, so what I was saying is he can not see time. He cannot see day, he cannot see night. He doesn't know what time it is. I managed to have some light. I don't think the people in the hole have light either, for night and day. The light source that I had was weird. So in the room, the windows were dead, or not deadbolted. The windows were barricaded, and there was just tiny slivers of light where the sun would come in, and you could see it on the floor. You could see it travel across the floor, just a little tiny beam. I knew it was daytime during that. There was another time in the bathroom, I knew it was day or night. And there's no windows in the bathroom. If I opened up the sink, it was dark enough in the sink to where if I looked down to where the plumbing was connected to the outside wall. The bathroom was connected to the outside wall. And I could see just a little tiny sliver when the sunlight came in. However, if it was a rainy day, or if it was let's say a super cloudy day and it was dimmer outside than normal, or it was a super stormy day, I can't see any sunlight. I don't know what time it is. I can't even predict what time it is. So that I think I was blessed to have. I do think that would help out a lot. So the things that Michael's going to be going through, he may have had the process sped up a little bit for him having a psychotic break, simply because he didn't have any sunlight to judge time by. Trust me, not having any reference for time is a huge deal. You don't know what to do. You just don't know if you're supposed to sleep or not. And you still have the same, built-in self-degradation. I don't know what the right word is, but you feel lazy and you want to work out. You feel bored and you want to do it. You feel like you've been laying in bed all day and you want to move. You still have those same feelings, except you don't know if they're right or not. And you know that you shouldn't be listening to those feelings because that's just going to make your day worse. So as we continue watching the isolation video, they're going to talk to an inmate that was in the hole for about 4 months, I believe he said. I think 4 months consecutively. I think he was in there for maybe 2 years. I just thought this was a small thing. You see that when he's sat in the room, his back was directly in the corner. Like, it'd be like this. The only way that you'd be sitting like that is if you had a pillow or you had something to make that flat. The reason that you would use a pillow is it cushions you. If you don't have you have anything cushioning you between you and that corner's gonna destroy your fucking shoulder blades. It's a horrible place to sit. Most of the time I had absolutely nothing. You gotta remember, it's 4 years, a lot of fucking things change in 4 years, especially when you're moved from an apartment in Arizona to a house literally in the middle of nowhere. It'd take 15 minutes to cross the desert to get to the house. Nobody could hear me scream, basically. A house in Georgia, and then another house in Georgia. So I moved 4 times, all right? A lot of times when I didn't have anything, the flat part of the wall is the best place to sit. With your knees up like this, you have your cheeks like this, your arms like this, be as small as possible, and you just relax. Just let your weight sit there. It's basically a way to hold your weight without, a whole lot of stress. The only thing that would really get numb is probably your butt. And that's why I said earlier, I would just move slightly. So after sitting like this, I would sit like this, and I'd wait as long as possible. Then I would sit like this because my butt cheek was, asleep, and then that big cheek would sleep. I would sit like crisscross applesauce, until the point that I'm all the way back to this, right? So you have a lot of things going on in your mind right now while you're sitting in a room with nothing to do. You have the worry that you never know when that door's opening again. You never know when the food's coming. You never know when you're going to be allowed to piss. You never know when you're going to get any liquid. There were days where I had no liquids. I would just stop peeing. My body had nothing to get rid of. You never know if that light's going to turn out. You never know if you're going to die. You never know if you're going to get beat. you never know if maybe there's the off chance that you'll get out, or the off chance that maybe your birthday will come and they'll give you something or give you more food, if you got food at all. Another thing that ends up happening is your circadian rhythm comes off or gets. Fuck, I'm really bad with words, and it's probably because I was locked in a room for 4 years. But your natural processes, they don't work like normal. Your hormones are going to be whack. The chemicals in your body aren't going to be normal. When I got out and they tested my chemicals, I don't know exactly how long afterwards. After I started, when I got out, I fucking ate. I got a haircut, and I had a few chemicals that were really, really out of whack, and some chemicals that were really, really low. I'm surprised I'm alive. Quite honestly, I really am. I actually wanted to talk about something else real quick. So, Michael doesn't have any hair, so he probably would never would have this option to go through. But remember how I was talking about I wanted a haircut when I came out. So let's go back even farther to when we're going to talk about stimulation and attention. Two things that we as human needs, we really fucking need. Excuse me. Hair, really long hair, that's not for me, alright? If a girl went through the same situation as me, where the fan's blowing, just blowing so fucking loud, and it's a strong industrial fan, so you're gonna get some breeze, alright? Your hair is going everywhere all the fucking time. It's gonna be prickling your face, it's gonna be caught in your neck. As a guy that doesn't like, having long hair, that was so fucking annoying. It got to the point where I had to rip my hair out. Originally, I just wanted to pluck it one by one. I was like, dude, we have so much hair, this is gonna take forever. I would be so upset. I would grab my hair, rip, I would just like this, and just, and it wouldn't come straight out of my head. It would actually, the strands would snap a little bit above. And I would just have a pile of fucking hair. The sides of your head are actually more sensitive than the top of your head. I don't really know why. And so I would not yank these hairs out on the side. I would just the top of my head. And it was a really weird look. Not gonna lie. I looked really weird. I didn't get any attention from that. Actually, what ended up happening though, I guess it was some form of attention, which probably spurred me into doing worse things like fucking cutting off half my face. He shaved my head. I needed that. It still looked weird because the hair's right here. It was pretty much bald versus here. Anywho, God, I can't even talk about everything that happened because this video would be too long. I did write a book, and I wrote down to the best of my ability all the memories that I could possibly remember into a book, and it's been in editing for years. I don't even know if he's still fucking editing it or not. I may have to get some professional to do it. But I put that in a book, and it's in depth as fuck. There's things that I'm not comfortable talking about in that book. There's things I can't talk about everything. So a lot of things that I'm gonna say probably don't make sense, or they're gonna be out of order. That's because I'm just straight talking to you about it. I'm not actually trying to write a book about it right now. I already wrote it. But as soon as that comes out, I'll definitely let you guys know. Let's go back to VSauce's video of isolation. While he's in that room, he sort of goes through sort of a psychotic break. He sees 9 bottles and he says there's 6. I'm sorry, but I feel like that's just a little over dramatic. I feel like that might be acting. I've never miscalculated anything that badly. You still have your basic counting skills. You don't fucking lose that shit unless you're completely brain dead. He's only been in there not even 3 days yet, and he's already suffering from that. I'm sorry, but I don't have much faith in that. I mean, everybody works different, but he's a psychologist. His mind's probably a lot stronger than mine. I was fucking 14. Give me a break. No, I don't think that was real. Now, if you want to talk about real psychotic breaks that have happened to me, things that I didn't realize was happening at the time, I didn't know it was a psychotic break. I didn't know any information about it, and I didn't know for several years later. The the only thing I can think of, and the worst thing I think of, other than being in the dark and seeing shit that's not there, it's not like vivid shit. It's just it's like blind seeing. You think you're conjuring up something that's not actually there. It's just a fear. You know, when you're walking in the dark as a kid and you feel something behind you, it's kind of like that. Now, that is nothing compared to the psychotic break that I had. Pretty much, I think this is what was going to send me to a psych ward if I had not gotten healthier. And thank God it didn't. I don't want to go to another form of prison, basically. So, not that foster care was any better. Honestly, foster care was so bad. I hated foster care. So, as the fan kept going and going, and the hair was bothering me, and I'm just having a really shitty fucking year, I would think to myself, and it wasn't like one day it just suddenly happened. I don't know where I came from. It just like shifted into me. Another voice would start talking, and it would either repeat something I said, it would talk to me about something I said, it would change its voices and mimic things like fucking SpongeBob, and I could never get it to mimic Patrick. It would sometimes do Squidward. I had no control over this. I tried talking to it. I tried a lot of things. I had no control over that. It did its own fucking thing, and that's literally, that made me more angry than the fan. And it wasn't that I couldn't talk to it. It's because it wouldn't shut the fuck up. All right, it would just nonsense. It was horrible. The only way I can make it silence is if I plugged my ears as hard as I fucking could, and then I would just hear blood. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's all I would hear, and that was beautiful. However, I can't sleep like that. So when I try to go to sleep and I'm hearing this fucking shit, just, oh my God, just shut the fuck up. It would just keep going. It was horrible. And I tried, at first I was like, oh, it's my parents. They put fucking speakers in the ventilation system, or they put it behind my bed, or something like that. And I firmly believed that for a little while. I would walk over to the fan, and I would hear it coming from the fan. I would walk over to ventilation. It sounds like it's coming from ventilation, but if I got too close to it, it would come from somewhere else. It was directional. And I firmly believed at first that it wasn't me. It's mind-boggling, really, that you can silence it, that your mind can directionally do things, that it can create its own voice without your control. It's crazy. And in the isolation video, the doctor talks about how your mind, when it's alone for a really long time, will conjure up somebody to be your partner. I feel bad for Adam and Eve. If Adam's partner was Eve, and that Eve wouldn't stop talking, oh, if it was as annoying as my fucking voice was, But it sounds 100% real. It's a voice in your head, but it sounds like I'm talking to you right now. You see how clear I am? Now imagine that being right here, or over there, over there, over there. It's real, but it's not, and it's terrifying. So what's funny is I'll be asleep. I didn't sleep much. There were times where I'd have huge dark bags under my eyes. Sleeping is impossible. It really is. And I would wake up at the just strangest hour. Maybe I thought I heard something. Maybe I was just pure fear. That voice would immediately start talking. It is probably talking the whole fucking time. I don't even know. It as soon as I'm conscious, that voice is just blah 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 blah, and it's annoying. Um, at first, I really thought it was the fan. I like really thought it was the fan. It was mainly coming from that fan, and I think it's possible because in my head I was thinking I hate that fan. I was thinking about that fan a lot. I hated that fan so much. I think my brain started associating that fan as a thing, and it just processed voices from there. However, I realized that it wasn't the room. When I was in the bathroom, the fan caught on fire, and the whole room filled with smoke. Then, when the room's full of smoke, you can't breathe. All right, there's no oxygen. Your lungs just don't do anything. And I would fucking jam my face under the bathroom door just to try to get some air in. And I'm screaming, I'm fucking crying. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna die from burning. I don't want to burn to death. And I would yelling. You know what my fucking mom did, dude? She busted open that door. She held the fire extinguisher. She looked dead at me, went straight at my fucking face, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm not the fucking fire, you dumb bitch. Like, come on. They unplugged the fan. They took the fan out. The voices are still there. I fucking got chalky ass shit down my throat. It's like a fruity hell. It's fruity hell. That's what it tastes like. If it was on your skin and you rubbed your skin, your hairs would immediately fall off. My nose hairs were probably fucked. I can't imagine what it was doing in the back of my throat. It was horrible tasting. The room was covered in this shit, and she expected me to clean this up. You don't realize how fucking hard it is to clean up a blanket of fire extinguisher. And it's not foam, it's just straight fucking nasty ass dust. And you move it and it just that was one hell of a day. And after they sprayed it and they took the fan out, they didn't give me any lenience. They just threw me right back into that fucking filth. That shit's still floating around. I don't want to breathe it. I would go to the bathtub and lay as low as possible with my mouth like this, just to, I want to breathe oxygen, you know? The smoke, there was no smoke alarm either, so it was literally just me saying that my room's on fire as a warning. And she had the audacity to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, screaming and shit? My fucking room's on fire. A piece of metal is on fire. That's how long the fan was going, that a piece of metal caught on fire. I don't even know where I was going. Oh, so after I got out of the room, I was walking around in LA. Even before that, actually, I was on the Greyhound bus, and I heard music, and I was like, that's the Greyhound bus playing music. I'm not hearing any voices anymore, it's just music. 3 days later, it's the same song. Well, that's weird. So I looked at the lady that I was sitting next to. She was from Mexico. She 100% from Mexico. She knew very little English. But I was like, do you hear that music? And she's like, music? There's no music. And I was like, you don't hear the music? It's not like super loud, but you can just kind of hear it, right? No, I don't hear no music. And I realized the reason I'm hearing the same fucking song over and over again is because that's still the voices, but this song is perfect. Why does this song sound so perfect? It sounds like a recording. And that's terrifying, that your mind can do shit like that. Yet if you try to remember the song yourself, you're lucky to remember the first two words of it. The song was Mercy Me or something like that. I just remember my mom saying she liked it. That's a horrible thing to have playing through your mind is a song your mom liked. You don't even like, you barely even know the song, but your mind spot on remembers it. And I was walking around LA and the song disappeared. Not hearing any voices, that's weird. I started walking to the homeless shelter. You guys can obviously read more information about that online. You just look up my name, Mitch Comer. Walking towards the homeless shelter, and I'm like, I don't want to go here. I started walking back, And that fear of not knowing what's happening sort of came back. It was really hard to breathe in that part of LA. Um, it was super fucking smoggy. There was homeless people everywhere. I was just assuming druggy people. There was people honking. It was just a lot of fucking noise all at once. A lot of, uh, it was like sensory overload all at once, and I'm freaking the fuck out. But I want to remain as calm as possible because I still care about the way I look. I still, I don't want to be made fun of. I don't want to be embarrassed or anything like that. At that point, my hair had already grown back out again. Not related. I'm just saying it's been that long since between. But all that fear came back, and I started hearing my mom and my dad's voices. My stepdad. I obviously never knew my dad. And they're basically just fucking making fun of me. They're trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, and I'm like, dude, this isn't even real. There's no fucking way I can hear them all the way over here. Why is this shit still doing it? Why am I still hearing shit? I don't fucking want to hear anything. And after the police found me, when the police found me, I believe that's when the voices stopped. Voices were gone as soon as the police found me, and I was able to interact with somebody, like, for real. And things were actually getting, cleared up. Man, the voices, though. I hear stories of people who say voices tell them to do this, voices tell them to do that, and yeah, I can kind of relate that. I feel that. You'll see that in my book. There's some shit that I did that I would have been better off not doing if I didn't trust that maybe the voice knew what it was talking about. And the only reason I ever did was because sometimes the voice predicted shit. It knew when the food was coming. It would be like, oh, yes, the food. Here, let's give this food to him. And be like, oh, that's for me. I shit you not, within 2 minutes, that door opened and there's fucking food. I can't hear anything outside that fucking door, but my brain does? Maybe that's where our sixth sense is coming from. Maybe our brain really does have another sense that we just can't process unless we're having a psychotic break or something like that. But my brain knew something that I didn't know yet. And that's also scary, but that's why I wanted to trust it, and it got me probably in more trouble than it actually should have. But the people that live pretty much normal lives and they say they hear voices, I don't know if I can believe that or not. Maybe they're just really broken, and I have a hard time saying that because I know nobody's gonna be able to relate to me saying that I heard a voice for a while, and I know that that's gonna be hard for people. I know what it's like to not want to believe somebody when they say they experience something. When people say they see ghosts and things like that, that just doesn't seem real. We haven't experienced that. And people say they have voices, and no matter how hard I want to believe it, they live such a normal fucking life. I don't want to believe it. I feel like it's an excuse. I feel like it's just maybe their subconscious. But if you're really hearing voices as vividly as I was hearing them, you really should get help, because that is not something you fucking want to deal with. Alright? The voices got me to a lot of fucking trouble. It pissed me off so much. Like, please, if you're hearing shit, get some help. There's no reason to feel ashamed. You don't realize how much trouble you can really ruin your life by listening to that voice. It's almost like there's no spirit in that voice. Like, there's no soul. If you ever watch Supernatural and you've seen Sammy without a soul, he just does whatever. Literally whatever. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't... I think he eats, but he doesn't sleep. He doesn't care. That's what my fucking voice was. It was basically a soulless person that could change its voice and memorize songs. and it did whatever it wanted to do, communicated whenever it wanted to. Half the time it wasn't even communicating, it was just shit. Okay, we're gonna move on. Moving on, so towards the end of the isolation video that VSauce did, you'll notice that he starts doing some weird shit. He's not laying in the bed anymore. That's more accurate than you can actually believe. You want to make your day feel different, or make your body feel more comfortable. A lot of the time, your body would just be uncomfortable just to be uncomfortable. It would make no reason. It would make no sense. You could sit the same way for days, and then one day your body just like, no, I don't want to fucking sit like that, and you have to adjust. Otherwise, it's just gonna be miserable. There was a time when sorry for saying so much. My eyelashes felt like there was something wrong with it. It felt like there was pointed in my eyeball. I was like, okay, well, I gotta pluck that eyelash out until it doesn't fucking poke my eyeball anymore. And I could never find that eyelash. It would feel like it was in the same spot, like right here. And then this one started doing it. I was like, well, that's really fucking weird. And I just kept plucking and plucking and plucking, using my fingers. And the next thing you know, I didn't have any eyelashes. And it's really scary. So you've seen pictures of aliens. That's what I look like. It was scary. Don't ever pluck your eyelashes. If you can help it. It's not attractive. So I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping up this video. When something happens, you'll notice at the end of his video, when somebody knocked on his door, he jumped because he wasn't ready for it. It's just unexpected. When things happen in the room and you're fearing for your life and you're fearing for somebody to come in, but also at the same time you're also hoping for somebody to come in because it could be good shit coming in. You are scared of a lot of random noises. And when I'm talking about people, I believe it was my stepdad, he'd come in and hit the floor directly under me with the stick or the broom or whatever it was, it would make me jump. I'm sort of feeling like they liked that. Like they found enjoyment out of scaring the shit out of me. Which would make sense because they did a lot of fucking horrible things that would scare the shit out of me. There's a lot to talk about. Isolation it's extreme. It really is. Everybody goes through it slightly different, but it is true that your mind will break down in isolation. And I think between my sitting intervals and going through my memories of my life, what I ended up doing in the end, which was taking the paper towel and the toilet paper, thank God I had that, and crafting, I'd craft little games out of it, like you guys remember Bejeweled? Basically crafted a physical version of Bejeweled. I turned that into a chess game. It got a little bit bigger because I got more confident. They saw it one time, they saw my Bejeweled setup one time, and they didn't take anything away. There was also no speaker in that room, in the bathroom. Then, and no, I still didn't jack off. So I moved from Bejeweled to chess, and then I started gaining confidence, and by far the favorite game that I've ever played was Final Fantasy Tactics, which is basically a super complex chess game where it was an RPG, and you could control units and they all have their own special abilities. And I basically created that, and I had so many tiles that I started creating topography, and people could climb and do shit like that. And then it got even more complicated to where I ended up having like 200 figurines, and I had multiple chess boards set up, and it was an awesome setup. And I made the mistake of throwing that away when that was probably the craziest thing I fucking had. Do I still remember how to build that? Yeah, it's not that hard. But I got so good at crafting those little figurines. I could see color on things that there was no color on. They were beautiful. To you, they just look like paper mache fucking shits. But I could see every detail. I would pinch just so I could see a feather or wings, or I make the neck. I put so much work into this, and it was so stimulating. That is why I'm alive to this day. That, and knowing that I'm not alone. That, and just, I guess, not committing suicide is why I'm alive today. And if you think that there's somebody in trouble, if you know of a friend who just moves away or just suddenly disappears, I think the earliest sign that I was being abused was I was just always grounded for the stupidest thing. My room didn't have anything in it since I was a kid. Sometimes it would have all my shit in it, sometimes it's gone. I actually was deadbolted in my room earlier in life for a couple months. And the people in the neighborhood knew I was being abused, but they couldn't do anything about it. You will know that a kid's being truly abused. Being beaten, I'm sorry, but getting the belt every now and then, I don't find that to be abuse. When you abuse the power of the belt, that is abuse. When you start whooping people 20, 50, 100,000 times, that's abusive. Alright? The real thing about beating somebody is obviously the fear of the pain, and they don't want to do that again. It only takes one belt whip to instill fear in a kid, to make them not want to do it again. If they're doing it again, it's not the belt that's not working. There's something going on. Can the belt work? Yeah. I don't think beating should be fucking illegal. I think abuse of the power of beating should be illegal. So there's definitely a distinction there. Let's just hope that there's no kid that has to go through this fucking solitary confinement. I may upload more videos some other time. I don't really know exactly what you guys want me to talk about now. There's a lot of things I can talk about. Sometimes it'll be re-going over things. I don't know if this video will ever be seen by anybody. I'm obviously spending a good amount of time working on this video. I'm actually splitting my YouTube channel right now into 3 parts. One's gonna be just my personal video, like this was intentionally made for. One's gonna be called Melted Sounds, and that's gonna be my car videos, which do really good. My third one is going to be my gaming channel, which it does very good. It just, it's a hit or miss, I guess. And I tend to like coaching. I like coaching gamers and teaching gamers, and I just like that. So that's gonna be my third channel. So this channel, I'm gonna continue uploading this one, my personal stuff, or maybe just funny stuff that's just of me. All right, well, I'll see you guys around. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I can get to 1,000 subscribers sometime. It's a long ways away.